What's up? It's Chad Altman here to ask you a question. Do you struggle with commitment? Do you have a hard time pushing through adversity? Do you find yourself in moments where things start to push back, you easily give up? Well, I can tell you one thing, you're not alone. And I have definitely been in your shoes. Matter of fact, today has been one of those days. You see, emotions are like that. A lot of the times, especially if we're having a lot on our plate, there's a lot going on, we can get into this cycle sometimes of when the tough gets going, we get going out of here. And today was a heavy day. Like, my son was dealing with some things at school. Like, my other son had a procedure today, and getting into the vibe, of wanting to do the things that I needed to take care of has been hard. It's been just hard. But I made a promise and a commitment to myself, right? I made a commitment that I was going to begin to show up in powerful ways regardless of how I felt. I made a commitment that I was going to change the generational gap with my children, and I was going to invest into their life in a way which was never invested into mine, and I was going to begin to create wealth for them so that when they got older they would have some kind of stability that was not given to me. I made a commitment to bring an impact into the world in a positive way, regardless of how I felt. I made a promise and a commitment to myself to leave a legacy in my wake that touched the fabric and the existence of not only my children's life, but their children's life also. Sometimes that we can be blindsided and get stuck so much on the one thing that knocks us off kilter that we're not able to get into the flow and the rhythm of where we actually want to feel like. But the truth of the matter is, we're just looking for a valid feeling to give us the go ahead to keep going forward. But follow me. What if we did the action that we promised to ourselves, regardless of the feeling that we felt when we started it, or the feeling that we were having before we were willing to start it when we made the commitment to begin with? I'm willing to bet that if you were willing to take the corrective action, one step, one thought, one move, methodically in place after another, regardless of how you feel, you would probably begin to finish those tasks which you had a hard time starting. You might be able to get to the other side of the projects that are empty and never bore fruit, or you might be able to tackle that thing inside you that has seemed like such a daunting task. One of the hardest things that I ever had to do for myself was I was nicotine dependent for a really long time. And quitting nicotine seemed like the silliest thing to do. My wife had just died. I had been in recovery for not that amount of time away from addiction. And in the midst of all that, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna give up nicotine too. Because, you see, I had made that commitment also and promised to myself and to my children and to change my life. You see, and my son came up to me that day and he was like, "Daddy, why do you smoke?" I didn't have an answer for him. Not a good one. I could have said like, "Oh, it's stress," or whatever, but like, how does at the time 5-year-old kid understand what stress is? So I decided to push through, and it was uncomfortable. It was extremely uncomfortable. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to engage and start the process all over again. But I made the commitment, and I decided that no matter what, no matter how bad I felt, no matter how itchy the feeling got, I was not going to cave in, and I was not willing to give up and give in and start that cycle all over again. You see, because before that, I had gotten into the cycle of, oh yeah, like I'll quit smoking, but like I'm still going to use an electronic cigarette. Or I might do this, but I'm not going to do that. But I decided to go all in. And once you decide to go all in with whatever you're struggling with, and it could be something simple. It could literally be, I need to clean my garage, but I'm unwilling to do it because it seems like such a daunting task. But once you decide to go all in, and no matter what, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, that you made the commitment and you're going to stick to it, I can promise you the garage is going to get clean. But we have to allow ourselves to get to the point of no matter what. So maybe you're watching this today, and maybe you're struggling with some addiction stuff. Maybe it's, I need to finally find a therapist. Or maybe it's, I need to finally engage in coaching practices. Whatever your need is, are you willing to go all in? Because there's going to be times, and it's going to happen, there's going to be days where it's going to be like, today is hard. Today is really hard. But are you going to give in? Are you going to stay committed? Are you going to be all in for yourself and the promises that you've made and the commitments that you made? Not only to yourself, but there might be other people in your life that this certain thing that you are dealing with, if you go through with it and you face it and you power through, it might be able to touch other people's lives. It could be as simple as cleaning your garage so your kids could get access to their toys again. Or it could be so that you could pull your car in because right now you can't, and it will allow your car to not have to get washed all the time. I mean, we could come up with 1,000 different scenarios, but whatever it is that you're facing right now, just know that staying committed, pushing through, and willing to take the action no matter what, because we are responsible for effort, not outcome. You may do the work on yourself, and you still might not arrive at the place that you think that you should be. But if we do the work, the next job becomes easier. If we clean the garage today, the house is going to be easier the day after. One initial foot in front of another, constant growth in one direction. It's the small steps consistently that ends up with the big picture taking place. So, I hope that resonated with you today. I hope that you can grasp onto this. I hope that you can really allow this to settle in with you, and that today you can make a decision no matter what. I'm going to stay committed. I'm going to go all in, and I'm really going to tackle whatever it is that you're trying to tackle. If you like content like this and ways to get past the inferiority within yourself, or maybe it's this is hard and I don't want to do it right now, just keep pushing. Like this video and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Have an awesome day.